On today's show, Apple delays ad tracking blocker until 2021, what I'm watching, The Boys, and everyone seems to be confused about iPad versus iPad Air. Do we need both? I'm David for Living on iPad, and I simplify Apple so that everything just works for you. If you want the latest Apple news, rumours and leaks every weekday at 12 UTC, click the like button, hit subscribe and ring the bell so that you don't miss a thing. Notification squad coming at the end. Apple delays ad tracking blocker until 2021. At WWDC this year, Apple announced that they would be reducing the amount of tracking that goes on between apps, and this would be partially by warning users about which apps are tracking them outside the app, which apps are using customized ads and things like that using a unique identifier. Now, many of the ad platforms have been rightfully terrified by this. Facebook, for example, said it would almost halve their revenues through their ad platform, but Apple is all about privacy. They even launched a couple of ads yesterday that are all about privacy and how your iPhone keeps your information safe compared to, I don't know, some other platform that might be out there. So Apple is pushing back the launch of this feature in iOS until the beginning of 2021 to give developers a little bit longer to integrate the new features that they need to. Apple has developed its own ad identifier that can be used on the iPhone devices, which will not prompt this warning to be popped up as soon as you open the app. However, it also won't give as much detail to the developers, so we will see how that works. What I'm watching, The Boys. Okay, a little bit of a different segment today. There wasn't a huge number of cool news stories that I was super excited about, but one thing I am really excited about is The Boys coming to Amazon today, in fact, the 4th of September. Now, I watched the first series of The Boys pretty much as soon as it came out, absolutely binged it, absolutely loved it. I've watched it again since then. If you are into superheroes at all, it is based in a universe where superheroes are real, but they are owned by a corporation, and we follow Billy Butcher and the boys as they try to kind of keep these superheroes in line. I won't tell you too much else beyond that, except that if you want to watch it on Amazon, there is a link in the description that you can click that will give you a 30-day free trial. The first 3 episodes, I think, are coming out today, so give it a go, see what you think. It doesn't cost you anything as long as you cancel before the end of that trial subscription. And this is not a paid ad, just to be clear. I am a member of Amazon Associates, so I will get a small commission from anyone that does, which goes towards helping to support this channel, and I'd appreciate that. Everyone seems to be confused about iPad versus iPad Air. Do we need both? So leaks in the past couple of weeks have included an iPad Air manual, it looked like, which showed TouchID built into the top button on the iPad, and also rumours of an entry-level iPad that looked again like an 11-inch iPad Pro, but with Face ID built in. So the cheap one's going to get the Face ID, and the more expensive one's going to get Touch ID, and then the top one gets Face. This is so confusing, it's not going to work. For me, I'm not 100% sure that we even need 4 different iPads at the moment, plus all the different sizes, plus the cellular options and everything else. When Steve Jobs returned to Apple from Next and Pixar from those days, completely stripped out a huge amount of the products that Apple were making at the time. So they went down to having 4 product lines, which were a consumer and a pro, desktop and notebook computer. So we were talking iMac, iBook, Power Mac and PowerBook. Those were the 4 product categories that they were going to do, and there were multiple sizes within these. Certainly down the line, not so much to begin with. It just simplified the product lines to knowing what exactly you were getting, and I think we probably need to go to that point once again with iPads. So at the moment we seem to be holding back the entry-level iPad just to protect the price point for the Pros and for the Airs and for the Minis. But what if we just went, we have iPad and we have iPad Pro, and you can have 2 sizes in each, so you've got an 11 and a 12.9 in the iPad Pro, and in the regular iPad you've got your 10.2, 10.8, 10.5, whatever it might be this week, and the smaller iPad Mini. So the iPad Mini gets the same processor as the iPad, and the 2 Pros get the same processor. So you get the A12, A13, A14 in the iPad and the iPad Mini. You get the A12X, A13X, A14X in the iPad Pros, and then they can be released every year exactly the same as everything else. We do seem to be going that way a little bit with the phones, so we've got the iPhone 12 and the iPhone 12 Pro coming. The iPhone SE is an interesting kind of category as well though, because the iPhone SE gets the latest iPhone chip, but in an old style body, and with less of the kind of cool features and more of the these are the bits that you need features. So maybe we could have a third category. That seems to be a decent idea, but again, why are we putting an A12 processor into the new iPad? The iPhone SE is already getting an A13, and all of the new iPhones will be getting an A14 this year, and then the iPad Pros will be getting an A14X this year. So why don't we just put that A14 into the iPad and make it current instead of putting at least a 2-year-old processor in there? It doesn't really make sense to me. Do we even need an iPad mini anymore? More questions, because the iPad mini is 7.9 inches. The largest iPhone this year is going to be 6.7 inches, so we're not super far away. It's pocketable. The iPad mini isn't. I'm not 100% sure that it's even a product category that we need so much anymore, but I would love to hear you guys' thoughts on this down in the comment. Leave me a message. What kind of iPad do you want? Does the Air make sense for anyone? It really confuses me why it's even there, to be completely honest. And yes, for you guys that want laminated displays, put the laminated display in the base level iPad, because that seems to be the weird differentiator at the moment for the iPad Air, is that it has this laminated display that I don't really care about, because this is an iPad 2017 5th generation. It doesn't have a laminated display, and I'll be completely honest, I wouldn't know if you told me that it did have one. On to Notification Squad. We've got 3 new members today. Thank you so much to Nino, Sam Sahara and Ruckus for joining the Notification Squad. If you want to join, you need to ring that bell, subscribe, and make sure that you let me know in the comments so that I can give you a shout out on the next show, which will be on Monday for this format of show, but there might be something coming over the weekend. You never know your luck. Depends how kind I feel. See you in the next one.